This happened around in 2021, and sometimes I still find it hard to grasp. I now live in a different place and along with most of my relatives, so I feel safer saying this on here. The reason I'm posting this is for people to learn and possibly caution themselves from my experience. I'd say the place I lived in was just pretty old. It wasn't densely populated nor empty. It had wooded areas around it that you can cycle to the mall, school, and other normal places. But you have to take a car to go places like the hospital. I was basically in my last year of high school. Being an only child and a girl on top of that made my parents overprotective, and I was naturally more cautious than the rest of my friend group. I didn't really mind being that way though, because I always thought this was the better option. So teenagers from school would have these outdoor get-togethers in the woods a few kilometers away from the school. It was common for people to lounge out and about, chilling till 3 a.m. or something, including me. It was a group of 4. They decided since it's our last year, we should probably drink together in the woods. Obviously, looking back, stupid fucking idea. But it wasn't unsafe, and it wasn't deep in the woods either. There's a pretty clear trail and a small openish area where people would like to get their dogs and whatnot. We planned to do it on a Thursday because my parents would be out and the rest would convince theirs that we were having a sleepover. Now we bought the alcohol and some other stuff to just chill out. There were no others that day because it was a weekday and quite chilly as well. It was pretty lively. You could see houses from the distance and people would be driving around and all, so naturally we felt safer. We walked on the trail for about 1 minute when I felt uneasy. I felt like we were being watched or something like that, and looked over to one of my friend. She looked a little distressed, but we just shrugged it off. We walked only a few minutes more and found our spot. We started drinking and basically spent like 1 hour and approximately 30 minutes of gossiping and having those deep talks while being drunk. I didn't drink too much and neither did my other friend. We were just a little tipsy. Now we forgot about the brief weird feeling we had felt while walking until we heard something from the thick trees in front of us. Even though we were loud, we all heard it. It was this weird snicker or giggle. I got up from this tree log I was sitting on and just dragged my friends back a little. We had a fire going on and 2 torches, but still couldn't really see into that area. It wasn't that close to us. Think about 4 doors away if you place them horizontally. So the fact that we heard that laugh was just insane to me. I pointed the flash straight into the area and no one came out. I sat back down and when I turned the flashlight off, there was a silhouette coming out. I switched on the flashlight to blind that person while my other friends did the same. We started yelling and getting ready to run when I saw this most horrifying sight of my life. It was this man who we'd never seen before. He had this plaster smile and his hair was covered in dirt. He was pale and his eyes were almost like he wasn't looking at us, but just in our general direction. I can't explain it, but it's just extremely creepy. We all ran for it. My very drunk friends even managed to snap out of it. I lived the closest to the place, and said that we called the cops. We were shit scared of our parents, but it didn't matter. We called the cops and they found nothing. Word got out, and people pretty much strayed away from the pass at nighttime. A couple of the guys in our school managed to get their dads and all with guns to find the guy, but nothing ever came of it. Fast forward to 1 month later, we didn't talk about it much and never did anything like that again. I got a pocket knife and a pepper spray to keep. I went home after school and was exhausted, so I decided to take a nap. My dad was at work and my mom was visiting her sister. I suddenly woke up to this weird sound. We had 1 story and the walls were not too thick. I locked all the doors and even the windows out of habit. Still fearing for the worst, I locked my room door and kinda looked out my window. There was nothing. I grabbed a bat and my phone, heading out of my room. I looked at all the doors and everything was locked. There was this weird like shuffling out my house, and I just looked through the window of my living room. I kid you not, it was the same dude from the woods. He was just outside walking in this erratic, eerie way, which just sent me into a spiral. He somehow saw me and started saying hi there, very loudly. I called the police and after that I told him to fuck off. After that he started saying my name and all my friends' names. The police questioned him.
He has no history of mental illness. He had no clinical disorder, and after enough torture, he confessed to liking young women. He's in jail now, probably will get a couple of years.
This happened a while ago, back in late July or early August of 2022, maybe slightly earlier. My friend and I decided to take photos in the forest. Yeah, I know, dumb idea. Everything was going fine, of course, slightly scary, cause, well, we are two girls in a forest and it's twilight. At around 9:40, my friend's mom calls her saying we should go back to her place because it's getting late. Understandably, we were going to her place. I ask her, can we take the shortcut out of the forest? She says alright. While going through the shortcut, I see some guy in front of us. He was holding an axe in one hand and was wearing a horse mask. He was around 195 centimeters tall. He was slowly coming towards us. I take my friend's hand and tell her, do not go there. There is a dude wearing a horse mask. She ignores me and continues walking towards him slowly. With no emotion, I take her hand and just force her to run to the longer exit from the forest.
While running, I literally not hearing anything she's saying to me because I am in a panic. Then I see a random woman walking with two average-sized dogs. Yes, I know I'm done for not warning her about the horse dude. We finally escape the forest and are going to her place. While walking to her place, she is asking me a bunch of questions like what was that and stuff like that. And she also mentions hearing that the guy was running after us. We got to her place and talked about what happened. I wish that was the end of it, but it wasn't. In October of 2022, I am casually browsing the TV and news and see some articles about a dead body in the same forest me and my friend were in. So, did we just escape a murder?